NRL Fanatics here, back today with a video. And what I'm going to do is give my thoughts on the game this season, the game of the NRL as a whole, because, I think it's a massive talking point. And, I was planning to get a few other YouTubers on the other night to do a live stream to talk about the game as a whole. And unfortunately that night, I had connection issues and all that, so wasn't able to do that chat, unfortunately. But I want to give my take on it. So let's look at the NRL this year. So at the start of the season, Peter V'landys, he kept the rules from last year. He brought in some brand new rules this year as well. And you know what? I am never a fan of seeing new rules brought in during a season. I think it's completely ridiculous. So you look at NRL Magic Round, for an example here. And NRL Magic Round was supposed to be one of the biggest weekends in the competition this year, because it's a great weekend. It's carnival-like football. We see some great games. We see good games. We see some games that probably aren't great to watch, but it's awesome because we get to see all these games at one stadium in Brisbane. So then, Peter V'landys brought in this new crackdown rule, which personally, I can understand it because, they want to stop head-high tackles in the game. And, we don't want to see players retire due to concussion, which is fair enough. But we also saw how strict they were in those games across the weekend. We saw so many sin bins. And the sin bins, for me, during that weekend, I think were unwarranted. I think they were over the top, the sin bins. And, we also saw some games on that weekend. We saw blowouts as well due to these sin bins. So the NRL crackdown rule right now, over the last couple of months has been a lot better because we haven't seen as many sin bins as we saw at Magic Round. So it's slowed down a bit, but I think the crackdown rule is, I'm personally not a fan of it. I just don't like the crackdown rule, and I'm not sure if V'landys, is doing the right thing there. I think, I understand it completely with the head-high tackles because of the concussion, but, some of the sin bins due to that, some of them have been very harsh, and, that's my thoughts on the sin bin and crackdown rule. So now, moving on to the 6 again rule. Now, I completely hate the 6 again rule. I hate it. I despise it. I'm not a fan of it. And there's a lot of people out there that probably will say, oh, it's great, it's awesome, it speeds up the game, it's making the game more entertaining. Well, yes, it's making the game more entertaining in terms of tries scored and lots of points. But is that a great thing every week? Is it a great thing every week? I personally don't think it is, because we've seen lots and lots of lopsided scorelines. We've seen scorelines like 50-0, 66-0 last week. Yes, I know the Bulldogs are shit. I know they're ordinary. But still, watching a game like that, 66-0, not great at all. And you know what? I didn't really watch it, to be honest. I didn't watch the game because I'm not a big fan of watching scorelines like that. And yeah, I think the 6 again rule is absolutely ridiculous. I don't like it whatsoever. There will be people that will argue the case and say it's great and they love it. But what does it do for the game? Is it great for the game, or is it great for the teams that can adapt to it the best? Because the teams that adapt to it are the teams that are sitting where they are on the ladder at the moment. So you've got the likes of the Melbourne Storm, you've got the likes of the Penrith Panthers, you've got the likes of the Parramatta Eels and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Those teams have able to adapt to those rules, the 6 agains, and all sorts of rules like that. But my point is, the teams that can't adapt to the rules, you get teams that race away to 20 points to nil lead, and the other team cannot adapt to it because, it's just too much. It's just too much for that team. So, look, I cannot stand the 6 again rule. I hate it. I absolutely despise it. And look, it might speed the game up and make it entertaining, but I personally don't like it whatsoever. And the NRL, Peter V'landys, I don't know why they introduced this rule. Look, you look at the game a couple of years ago. You look at the game a couple of years ago. 2018, 2019, the NRL was good what it was. There was nothing wrong with the game the way it was. There was nothing wrong with it whatsoever, in my opinion. There was nothing wrong with the game as it currently was before. And then they bring the 6 again rule and the crackdown rule and all sorts of different rules. You know, I'm just not a fan of it. I just don't like it whatsoever. And Peter V'landys, please listen to the fans of the game instead of worrying about yourselves. Oh, look, the product, it's great for the game. It's great for the television viewers. You know what? What I've got to say about that is it's completely ridiculous, V'landys. It's completely ridiculous. And you might come out here and say, oh, I'll defend it and say, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, you know, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong for the game. With the fans go to the stadiums, the viewers sit down and watch it on TV. How can you say there is nothing wrong with the current rules in the game right now? Are you happy to sit there and watch 66-0 each week? Are you happy to sit there and watch 40-0? Are you happy to sit there and watch 30-0? It's completely ridiculous, in my opinion. But to end that rant off, it's just frustrating. You know, I would sit there and I want to watch a game of NRL. I want to watch every game. But right now, it's very unwatchable, in my opinion. You guys might disagree. Everyone might have their own opinions on it. But I'm sitting here saying that right now, the NRL is very unwatchable. And something needs to change to help improve the game. Because what people are doing is they're sitting there paying their money to watch the game of footy. And they're sitting there watching 66-0. And they might be thinking, oh, look, I'd rather sit down and watch something else because there's another sport on. But that's my view on it. A lot of people might disagree with me here. People might say, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with the game right now. But for me personally, I think the game is unwatchable at this current state at the moment. The NRL is unwatchable this season so far. And look, to be quite honest here, I haven't watched every game last week. I didn't watch every game. I just watched a couple of games. And when I started watching the game and it started to get out to a blowout scoreline, I didn't want to watch it. You know, yes, I love the game of NRL. I love footy, but I do not want to sit through and watch 40-0, 50-0. You know, I'd rather see 20 points to 16 or 20-18. Yes, high scoring, good, but blowout scorelines of 50-6-0 is ridiculous. You know, we need to see contest. We need to see the game competitive again. And right now, the NRL is not competitive. You know, it's a gap. You look at the ladder right now, there's a massive gap between top of the table, from the top of the table to the 4th, and to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, there's a massive gap. And in 2018, this is a prime example. I know this is a different competition, but 2018, we saw teams from 1st to 8th separated by just 2 points. So from 8th to 1st, 2 points was the gap. That was the gap. Remember when 2018, I know the Warriors that year, you know, they won, 5 straight games? I know this is completely off topic, but they won 5 straight games to start the season. But at the end of the season, they only managed to finish 8th because of 4 against. So, you know, that's how I like to see the competition. I like to see the competition like it was in 2018, where we saw 1st, 8th separated by 2 points. And that was great for the competition. I believe that was the best year the NRL had in terms of the competition as a whole. So, you know, that's my thoughts on it. Is the NRL unwatchable this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you're also hitting that subscribe button down below. Please hit that subscribe button down below and help the channel grow. At the moment, the channel's at 623 subscribers. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button down below. And also don't forget to like the video as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys all soon for another video.